Hello and welcome to the Kongversation. Meanie. I'm Hyle Russell.
I'm David Thomas Lynch.
And on this special little bite-sized episode of the Kongversation, we are going to be discussing Mario Kart 8 Deluxe's most recent update, which I realize we haven't really been keeping up with the Booster Course Pass as it's been coming out. Like, we haven't done an episode for Booster Course Pass 1, 2, or 3. Why are we just now doing one for Wave 4? Well, it's because it's the most Donkey Kong-centric or Donkey Kong-adjacent update we have had. Plus, of course, it sets the table for a much more exciting update to come in either Wave 5 or Wave 6. So I feel like this is a good time, right before we have a flurry of other stuff we need to discuss here in the Kongversation, to have a moment to address everything that has been added to the game in the last week or so. So, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe just had the 8 new tracks plus Birdo to the game. And we've had some discussion about this when they announced it on the Nintendo Direct back in February. But now that it's in the game, we can actually say, hey, it has 2 returning Donkey Kong stages in the Fruit Cup, sort of, alongside the Yoshi's Island track, which I suppose we need to discuss, even if it's not really relevant to the Kongversation's interest. It might have some relevancy for the future in the aforementioned Wave 5 or 6. There's also, in the Fruit Cup, the Amsterdam Drift, which I am going to assume is Funky Kong's home track, should he make it in the game. And I don't think we need to discuss the other cup. We're here to discuss the Donkey Kong bits.
The Boomerang Cup.
The Boomerang Cup.
Running out of names.
Yeah, well, I think that was apparent with the Fruit Cup. Like, you're not even going to get specific on what fruit it is. It's just all fruits. Are we going to have the Vegetable Cup in Wave 5? I hope so. That would be awesome. But
there's a Cherry Cup, so clearly the fruit is not cherry.
No, but I feel like you're limiting yourself. Why not? I guess they have to keep things specific to what's been in Mario or Mario Kart, but not the Kiwi Fruit Cup or this is getting into Jungle Beat territory, but at least Jungle Beat, named all of their fruit kingdoms with actual fruits. So anyway,
this must be the apples that Yoshi eats in Super Mario World.
I guess that's it. Yeah, it is apropos that 2 Donkey Kong related tracks ended up in the Fruit Cup because Donkey Kong likes his fruits. Let's discuss the first one, and the one that nobody will argue with us is a Donkey Kong track, even though it has probably less relevancy for Donkey Kong than the other one. It's DK Summit from Mario Kart Wii. Now, DK Summit has been loathed traditionally by DK Vine and Donkey Kong purist for being the second ski resort kind of track that's been labeled as a Donkey Kong track in a Mario Kart game. So we got one in Mario Kart DS, DK Pass.
DK Pass, yeah.
Yeah. And
you think Donkey Kong, you think, jungles,
Right. And then we lamented it when Mario Kart DS came out, not lamenting it as much as the lack of Diddy in that game, but still lamented it. And then DK Summit came around with Mario Kart Wii, and we just threw our hands up in the air, but I think they distracted us with Funky Kong being in the game, so I don't know if we complain quite as much. But yeah, this is like the baffling snowboarding track where it's
they
like
could have at least named it after Funky Kong.
Right. It's
actually in that game, but
it's like a course from 1080 snowboarding on the N64, except it's called DK Summit. At least here in the Americas. I realize in Europe it's called what is it? DK Snowboard Cross in British English. I don't know why they still localize unless
because of this one Mario Party game that used words like 15 years ago.
Oh, yeah, that's unfortunate. I don't think Summit means anything bad in the UK, but okay.
I think they just like, let's just localize everything from the ground up these days rather than just proofread a bit.
Yeah, so this has the snowboarding Donkey Kong statue from Mario Kart Tour. When they added DK Summit to Mario Kart Tour, they swapped out the snowboarding Mario statue from the Wii game, and they put in a snowboarding Donkey Kong statue because somebody realized, hey, why is it a Donkey Kong course if it has nothing to do with Donkey Kong?
Donkey Kong was like, hey, if you're going to name this track after me, can you at least get a statue?
Yeah, so
fine.
I applauded that, and at the very least, it now has some sort of significance for Donkey Kong, even if it's just a statue. Now, I've explained before on the conversation that I feel that this ski resort or snowboard cross takes place in the Monkey Mountains from off of Donkey Kong Land. Because, David, as you know, Donkey Konga 2, arguably, all of the settings in that game take place on the offshore islets from Donkey Kong Island that we explore in Donkey Kong Land. Grimlantis, Monkey Mountains, Big Ape City. And there is a resort in Donkey Konga 2 that looks very much like the resort in this game and DK Pass in Mario Kart DS and other Mario Karts. So my theory is this takes place in the Monkey Mountains, so it is part of Donkey Kong Island's territory. Ergo, it's a Donkey Kong track. Yes, it has a bunch of Shy Guys snowboarding here, but, everybody's coming in for the Mario Kart race. A lot of visitors from the Mushroom Kingdom. Just go with
assumed
it.
that these courses were in the Mushroom Kingdom, just, Donkey Kong themed courses.
I would argue that's the case for DK Mountain in Mario Kart Double Dash because the trees have eyes, man.
And the
clouds have eyes. But I would say that you can make the case that DK Summit, DK Pass, obviously DK Jungle.
I don't know how actual NASCAR races work, but I'm pretty sure when people, go from one course to the next, they don't have to go through a warp pipe to another dimension. But I don't know, maybe Mario Kart works differently.
I think they do that in Formula One. They have a lot more money to throw around. So,
right.
It's a little bit more upscale. So, So anyway, I would imagine though, if Donkey Kong, is approached to compete in Mario Kart, he's like, well, here are my conditions. We've got to have one race on Donkey Kong Island or territory I feel is friendly to me and my associates here, Diddy and Funky and Dixie. So they break down what tracks are going to appear. And if there is a warp pipe right there in the Congo jungle, that makes things like DK's Jungle Parkway and other places accessible. I mean, if it's just a warp pipe, you just a quick trip. It's basically quicker than going to Bowser's Dark World or something, right? I don't know.
Suppose. I mean, unless that probably also has a warp pipe.
It all has warp pipes. I mean, it's fast travel in the Mushroom Kingdom and beyond. So yeah, I mean, there's not much to say about DK Summit. It looks nice in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I do appreciate that whatever lazy shortcuts they took in the original Wave 1 of the Booster Course Pass, they've since worked around where now, snow actually sticks to the tires when you're going down the hill. There was a lot of things that didn't make it feel like it held up to the original tracks in Mario Kart 8. But I think they've done a better job of bridging that divide with, they also updated, the original Booster Course Wave 1 tracks, but yeah.
Oh, is that what happened? Okay, because I remember people were complaining, but at the time I don't actually own a copy of Mario Kart 8 because I already have it on the Wii, that system I play all the time that's not collecting dust in my parents' house. So I bought the booster pack and then just stole my brother's copy.
That's fine. That's acceptable.
And I did that around, I think, when Wave 2 came out, so
yeah.
I guess I didn't see the original, because I remember people complaining that, they just, copy the courses from Tour.
It was never quite that bad. It never looked like it was straight from Tour, but there's definitely less graphical fidelity. And I'm sure if you're really going to analyze it, you still have a bit of that. But it looks more of a piece with the rest of the game than it did back when Wave 1 first launched.
And also, it runs at 60 frames a second consistently and doesn't randomly stop for like 5 seconds at a time. Also, I have a really old phone.
Yeah. Yeah, but I played DK Summit so much in Tour like recently that it doesn't feel special to have it here anymore. It's like, oh, except now I can actually fall off the mountain. Whoops.
Well, I think like all the Tour courses, you can now play them whenever you want.
Yeah, I mean, that's nice. Yeah, because Tour, you have to wait for them to come back around whenever, they add the tracks back in a new Tour. So it's nice, but I think I'm burned out a little bit on DK Summit. Out of all of the Donkey Kong tracks, that's the one where I'm just like, I've had my fill for a bit.
It's also one that makes you keep going from one end of the course to the other, but Donkey Kong also has the worst steering. So,
yeah.
Unless you have mushrooms.
Yeah. So the one I'm more excited about, oddly enough, is the one that doesn't have Donkey Kong in its name. And that's Riverside Park, originally from Mario Kart Super Circuit. Now, I would argue, David, and DK Vine's stance has always been that Riverside Park is Donkey Kong's home track in Mario Kart Super Circuit, despite it not saying Donkey Kong in the title. Because I always thought the association was clear that it was supposed to be in the same park as DK's Jungle Parkway from Mario Kart 64, which, Mario Kart Super Circuit is in many ways basically a handheld direct sequel to Mario Kart 64 running off of the Super Mario Kart formula. So it was like, oh, Riverside Park. It's just more of DK's Jungle Parkway, just not along the river as much. And, it's conjecture for sure, but I was surprised when they added this to Tour the other month, how contentious it actually is. With me saying, oh, Riverside Park, Donkey Kong's there. And people are like, what are you talking about?
I don't know. It always seems obvious to me. Even the music sounds like kind of like DK Island's thing.
It does, yeah. But you're also part of the DK Vine staff, so you've been assimilated into the hive mind, David. So,
yeah, of course,
you got to free your mind and just be a contrarian. No, but I have always surmised that Lakeside Park is also on Donkey Kong Island, just elsewhere in the Congo jungle, closer to where the Jungle World 1 levels of Donkey Kong Country Returns actually are located. But that's just my opinion. But the Donut Plains remakes in Mario Kart Super Circuit that reuse the backgrounds of Riverside Park, yeah, arguably those are on Donkey Kong Island too. However, not the other Donut Plains tracks from the original Super Mario Kart or those who have appeared since then. Those take place, north of Yoshi's Island as seen in Super Mario World. But that's a topic really for a Mario Kart Super Circuit spotlight episode. Don't really need to get into it here. I do want to talk about Riverside Park a bit. So they completely redid this for, I guess, Tour and this game. It just came out in Tour first. But, it's not just the flat sort of Mode 7 style track anymore.
Okay, I thought it was a little different that, the Game Boy didn't have a bunch of jump boosts and...
Yeah, because here you wind, the track actually goes inside a cavern or a cave, and it winds upwards, and you burst out of a waterfall at the finish line, which I guess, they could have rerouted the original track into a nearby cave. I don't really know how to synchronize this with the established canon of Riverside Park, which I realize...
I mean, all the classics have... levels have been, retooled in some way to varying degrees.
Usually that just involves them like building a visible ramp or something. Here it's just very much like kapow. It's a completely different landscape. And I realize like only weirdos like us would care about the established canon of Riverside Park for Mario Kart Super Circuit. But considering...
Yeah, mine too. A lot can happen in almost 20 years.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and they've got landscaping companies on Donkey Kong Island. They've got budget for their parks. Once Donkey Kong became Jungle Hero and DK King of Swing and took over management of the island, I'm sure he was like, all right, let's make these more exciting racetracks.
Maybe they renovated it for Donkey Kong Racing, and
It never happened, yeah. Nobody told Donkey Kong that Donkey Kong Racing was canceled. As late as 2007, he was still getting ready for it, and he was like, wow, Rare's taking forever with this. And then somebody told him, oh, you didn't hear? Saberman had to break the news to him, and then Saberman got his game canceled too. Anyway, so I like the way Riverside Park looks. They've retained the quintessential elements of the sky and the feeling of the jungle. If there was any doubt that this took place in a tropical jungle, that's out the window now. This is very clearly in a tropical humid jungle. The only thing I might have a quibble with is that they added piranha plants. However, they made sure that they didn't plant the piranha plants. These piranha plants are just scurrying around on their little planty tendrils acting as legs. Which, I'm relieved about this, David, because I don't like when people plant non-native plant species into a delicate ecosystem.
that's why this has been covered with lanternflies for the past couple of years.
It's dangerous to plant piranha plants where chomp plants are native. David, what's going to happen? What's going to happen to the ecosystem? Yeah, will they crossbreed? Will that just completely cause all of the insect life to be decimated on Donkey Kong Island? This is better than the Namco developed Donkey Kong Island tracks for the Mario Kart arcade games. I don't know if you've ever watched the footage of those or actually played any of the Mario Kart arcade games, but yeah, they have piranha plants in them, and I'm just like, what the hell are you doing, Namco? Bugs me. It bugs me, and it's gonna bug me when I see those floating item blocks in the Super Mario Brothers movie in the Jungle Kingdom. I'll be like, that, and I'm just like, yeah, it's a different continuity, Hyle. Calm down, but I won't be able to calm down. I'm gonna be shouting at the screen in the theater on opening day. Children around me crying because I'm speaking truth to power right in front of them.
Right, of course. Donkey Kong Island is clearly a remote island on the same, the quote, quote, real world.
Yes, in the Rare Archipelago. Right. Well, I do like Riverside Park. I think it's a fun track, and it's, I actually like it better than the new Yoshi's Island track. I feel like Riverside Park is almost a new track given how much they renovated it. The Yoshi's Island track is pretty cool, at least as far as everything they got in there. It's chock full of references. I just don't think it's a very fun track personally. It doesn't grab me like Riverside Park does. Granted, I am biased. In the 2D platforming contest of 1995, I'm always picking Donkey Kong Country 2, hands down. Anyway, that being said, I do respect and like Yoshi's Island, even if it's not my favorite 2D platformer. And it was really cool to see Yoshi's Island finally get some recognition in Mario Kart rather than all of these weird Yoshi tracks that don't really have anything to do with Yoshi. I was complaining about, DK Summit, and here the Yoshi fans have had no good Yoshi tracks, really. I mean, yeah.
There's the one that's shaped like Yoshi.
There's the one shaped like Yoshi, which I hate.
And that one weird one where for some reason Mario Kart 64 won't tell you what position you're in.
Yeah, Yoshi Valley, yeah.
But it can still tell where you are on the map. And
yeah.
Yeah, just a bunch of question marks, but
yeah. It doesn't really
clearly I'm the question mark that just got hit by a shell.
Yeah, I think Yoshi Valley is a fun track, and I really like how Mario Kart 8 recontextualized it as a Yoshi sanctuary, which was clever. But the one from Double Dash, where it's just an island shaped like Yoshi, is probably my least favorite Mario Kart track in the history of Mario Kart tracks. I hate it. I hate that track. It's not fun. Anyway. Yoshi's Island is a lot more fun.
Yeah, it's like one of those things where it did look like the Zelda and Animal Crossing where they actually changed the coins and the music and everything.
Yeah. Yeah, it's cool. I really like that they went for a more realistic vibe to Yoshi's Island's artwork, while still retaining its essence. Like, I like how they didn't just go the Smash route and just make it look like 2D hand-drawn. They actually have it like a lush 3D environment, but it still resembles
Yeah, it's
Yoshi's
like the
Island.
realistic Mario Kart 8 style, but still Yoshi's Island style.
It was satisfying, and it really makes me excited to see what the possibly rumored new Donkey Kong track that data miners have uncovered the name for, or the file name for, in Mario Kart Tour, which they found alongside this Yoshi's Island track. So I assume this Yoshi's Island track is coming to Tour at some point, but yeah, we might have a new Donkey Kong track as well.
Because I think the only other new track was that ice cream level that came to Tour like 2 days later.
Yeah. I mean, that was almost a simultaneous launch in Tour and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. So, yeah, it really does whet the appetite as much as ice cream would if I wasn't a vegan and lactose intolerant. Because, Mario Kart 8, David, has been around in some configuration since 2014, for almost a decade now. And 2014 was a surprisingly contentious year for DK Vine and I guess broader Donkey Kong fandom, considering we got a new Donkey Kong Country game to kick it off. And it was universally beloved in the Donkey Kong fandom. The broader gaming media had some issues with it because it wasn't Metroid. They got over that eventually, but it was a drama. But for the Donkey Kong fandom, once Tropical Freeze came out, we had the whole scandal of Diddy not being included in Mario Kart 8. And that was, of course, followed up later that year with the Super Smash Bros. For Nintendo 3DS and Wii U drama of, being Super Smash Bros. For Nintendo 3DS and Wii U, where we basically got almost nothing we wanted in either the base game or DLC. But and the rare layoffs happened that year too. So 2014 kind of sucked after February. But it's a weird feeling now. We made our peace with the rare layoffs in a sense, considering it
also gave us Platonic.
It gave us Platonic, right? We made our peace with Smash, considering Super Smash Bros. Ultimate came out and basically made good on all of our disappointments. Gave us King K. Rool, gave us Banjo and Kazooie, and it also just played really, really well. And we're like, oh my god. So we love Super Smash Bros. Thank you, Sakurai. Mario Kart 8 has always been the one that got away because I've never made my peace with it. I really like Mario Kart 8 and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I think it's the best Mario Kart game ever. And I said that on the conversation recently, and that also proved contentious because everybody chimed in with their favorite Mario Kart and said, you're wrong. And look, my favorite nostalgia-wise will always be Mario Kart 64, but I recognize that game doesn't play as well as Mario Kart 8. It doesn't look as great as Mario Kart 8. Doesn't have as much selection as Mario Kart 8. I can recognize that. The problem is Mario Kart 8 doesn't have my favorite character in it. And I realize that's a small thing to some. But for me, the entire appeal to Mario Kart is getting to romp around these silly go-kart tracks with, one of your favorite characters. And
right, like Baby Rosalina or Pink Gold Peach.
And I'm sure if you love any of the baby characters, sans Baby, DK, and Wario, you're going to love Mario Kart 8. If you love any of the metallic characters, hey, Bob's your uncle. I don't know what that means. But Mario Kart 8 is for you, especially Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, because they had a gold Mario. But, as a Donkey Kong fan, first and foremost, just having Donkey Kong in these games doesn't really cut it for me anymore, because I like Donkey Kong, yes, but I love Diddy Kong. He's my favorite character of all time. Dixie is a close second. And, I've been playing Mario Kart Tour religiously since I got my new phone and I gave it another shot. Once I realized how to enjoy Mario Kart Tour, not to view it as in the running for, best Mario Karts or even, approaching the playability or design of Super Circuit. It's a completely different thing. But once I wrap my head around that, I realize it's also just so much fun getting to drive around as Dixie Kong. As well, I was going to say Funky Kong, but his item sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so is Diddy's.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Funky and Diddy.
Yeah, they shoot bananas in front of them, but it's also very easy to actually get hit by their own bananas.
I've gotten better at knowing how to angle it, but it's still kind of a groan-worthy moment every time that banana cannon pops up. You're like, oh, God.
You just fired just a little off the course.
So, admittedly, I play more as Dixie Kong or Donkey Kong Jr. than anybody in the game. Donkey Kong's also great because he has the giant banana. Oh, and my me, the character you, i.e. me, can wear the Donkey Kong me costume. And then he also gets the giant banana. So I play a lot as you. I mean me. I play a lot as me. But by that, I mean the character you. Which I mean me.
I think me in the Donkey Kong suit might actually be my most played character. Although part of it is that Donkey Kong doesn't have any favorite courses lately.
Yeah, most of the new ones aren't really gifted to Donkey or Diddy since they've been in the game since launch or near launch. But yeah, it's fun to play as other Kongs, and I realize that makes me shallow and superficial, but again, it means so much to have your favorite character in one of these games. Mario Kart Double Dash and Mario Kart Wii are among my least favorite Mario Kart games, but I actually have some nostalgia for both, more so Double Dash, considering the timing of when it came out, just because you can drive around as Donkey and Diddy Kong in tandem, in the DK Jumbo. And it's just, it's terrible trying to beat the game as them, but it's satisfying to get to play as them. And if I could have Diddy Kong in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which I recognize as probably the best Mario Kart game, I think my nearing 10-year drama strife with this game would finally be resolved. And I mentioned on social media the other week that it was a weird feeling to suddenly be excited about Mario Kart 8 again. After I've, patched up my wounds and tried to let them heal. But they've never healed properly. They ache come every winter, David.
Are you sure you're not just getting old, maybe?
I can feel it in my bones every time it rains, but I think getting Diddy, I would be young again. I would be vivacious again if I had Diddy in this game, and I don't want to raise the expectations and be like, oh, but what if they put Dixie in the game? What if they put Funky in the game? They're in tour, why won't they put them in this? All I want is Diddy. If I get Diddy, I will be satisfied. But that's the question, right? Because they only added Birdo. And all of the color variants to Birdo.
Of course, can't forget Orange Birdo.
Yes, Orange Birdo. And I'm really happy for all of you Orange Birdo fans out there. This is your moment. Enjoy it. There are 5 new question marks on the character select screen. So when they added Birdo, they added a whole new column on the character select screen. And Birdo is at top. And beneath Birdo are 5 question marks. So the big question for those question marks, who will make it? Who will be those 5 characters? And it's odd the way they've broken it up, isn't it? Because they've only added Birdo in Wave 4, and you would think, well, if they have 6 slots that they've added, wouldn't it go 2, 2, 2? 2 for every wave? A lot of us thought maybe they would add another character to Wave 4. They didn't. It was just Birdo and her color variants. So, does this mean we're going to have 2 in Wave 5 and 3 in Wave 6? And not to raise the expectation game, but oops. Would that mean an all Kong wave with Diddy, Funky, and Dixie? Is that why they've broken it down the way they have? Because we've got a big Donkey Kong update coming.
No. You gotta have the main character from the latest Fire Emblem.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
That's gonna be the last one.
I keep thinking, what if they announce Wave 6 during a Donkey Kong Direct, where they reveal Donkey Kong EPD, where they reveal Diddy Kong Racing is coming to Nintendo Switch Online Plus expansion pack, where they finally give us everything we've been wanting for a decade, and that includes the Kongs in Mario Kart 8 and a brand new Donkey Kong track based on Donkey Kong EPD, or maybe even an arcade throwback, as we've speculated on.
Maybe the Spiny Cup will consist of, DK's Jungle Parkway and a new Donkey Kong course and, maybe throwing a Diddy Kong racing track.
A Diddy Kong racing track that Rare developed for them, just like Retro developed the DK Jungle track for Mario Kart 7 that's in the base game of Mario Kart 8.
Throwing a new Rainbow Road that'll be set in Future Funland.
Yes, okay. And what of new vehicles, David? Because look, I brought this up in conversation, not the conversation. I brought this up in discussion with others the last couple days, and I said, everything they're adding for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is great, but what I really want, aside from getting Diddy and Funky and Dixie in the game, are new vehicles, because I drive around, I don't know about you, David, but I drive around as Donkey Kong in the Mercedes. Actually, the W25 Silver Arrow is my Mercedes of choice in the game, just because I don't really like many of the other vehicles in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I find the selection to be lacking, and I was called a fussy little fellow when I brought this up, but I'm serious here, because look, Mario Kart Tour has spoiled me when it comes to vehicles, because in that game, we have the DK Jumbo, which they've changed, they've shrunk down so it just fits a single driver. It's not the double DK Jumbo anymore. But we've also got the Barrel Train, which anybody can drive now. You don't have to be a little monkey to drive it. So, you can put...
Little monkey who has to team up with, Toad.
Yeah, I never used the Barrel Train. I never used the Barrel Train in Double Dash because it was sacrilegious, because I would have to break up Donkey and Diddy, and Diddy wouldn't pair up with any of those freaks.
No, Diddy would totally pair up with Paratrooper.
No, he just met everybody in Toadstool Tour. He's not friendly enough to break away from Donkey Kong while visiting the Mushroom Kingdom. That would be terrifying for him. Anyway, you got the Barrel Train, you've got the Rambi Rider, you've got the Rambi Runner, you've got the Gold Rambi Rider, you've got the Gold Train, which is the Barrel Train, but gold! You've got the DK Maximum, which sounds like a condom brand, but no, it's the DK Jumbo, but it's been varnished. It's been coated with that wood stuff that makes your deck look all nice, and you've got the silver or the white DK Jumbo, which is perfect for Cranky if Cranky ever gets in the game. Anyway, my point is, you've got a lot of selection. You've got all of those vehicles, and what are you going to drive in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe if the other Kongs come? You can, I guess, drive the Sports Coupe, because that's what the Hot Wheels Donkey Kong was put in, but that kind of sucks. Like I said, the Mercedes, but I don't know.
The standard cart?
No, the standard cart looks like it's for Mario. That's not any good.
Pipe cart?
Oh, they outgrew the pipe cart in Double Dash. Why would they go back to the pipe cart? What am I going to drive? The Prancer? The Prancer? What is this? If I can't get a faux rhino under my Kong, I don't even want to play this game. This is garbage. I know I just said it was the best Mario Kart game ever, but it's trash. I don't want anything to do with it if they don't add the Rambi Rider. Yeah, I guess I am a fussy little fellow.
This has been a File 2 production.
Que rico.